verse 3, blessed. And verse 4, blessed. And verse 5, blessed. And verse 6, blessed. And verse 7, blessed. And verse 8, blessed. And verse 9, blessed. And verse 10, blessed. And verse 11, blessed. And verse 12, rejoice. Have you ever felt like you don't belong? Am I the only one? Have you ever felt like you don't belong? Have there been a time in your life where you felt you just didn't belong? I remember when I was growing up as a young boy, I always had this sense that I was different, that I didn't belong. I suffered depression from a very young age, and I just felt like I didn't fit in with the other kids. I didn't seem to be able to get along. I felt like I didn't belong in this world. I felt like there was just something different about me. I wonder if you felt like you don't belong. Maybe today you feel like you don't belong. Well, the good news of the gospel is that there is a new world coming. That even if you don't feel like you belong in this world, God has prepared a place. A new world is coming, and every one of us has the opportunity to belong there and to be a part of it. And that's why today's message is called A New Identity for a New World. A new identity for a new world. So let's just go to our passage today. Let's just go to Matthew chapter 5 from verses 3 to 12. You remember the last 2 weeks we've been introducing it. Jesus has gone up the mountain. He sat down. His disciples came to him and he began to teach them. And then from verse 3 it says, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Lord, bless the reading of your word. Our series is on practical Christianity. Practical Christianity, Christianity that works. It's about everyday life, because that's where we live. And it's also about eternity, because that's where we're going. You can't have one without the other. It's impossible. We have to think about everyday life because it's where we live, and we have to think about eternity because it's where we're going. We live at the intersection of heaven and earth, of time and eternity. We are concerned about the now, and we're also concerned about the not yet, because the now affects the not yet, and the not yet affects the now. At any moment, where we are going is affected by where we are, and where we are going affects where we are. We experience that all the time when I'm driving. If I am so focused on my destination, then I might miss that little old lady that's crossing the road right in front of me. If I'm so focused right in front of me, I won't get anywhere and I won't go anywhere. The journey is about where we are and where we are going. Where we are matters because it's where we live right now, and where we are going matters because it's our destination, and we must orientate ourselves towards it. And that really is what this is all about. It is a new world that is coming. And what we do now matters, both for now and for the not yet. As we journey through Matthew 5 to Matthew 7, that is what we are reading about. We're not just reading about where we're going, we're reading about where we are and how to live everyday life just now. There's lots of advice that's coming up on how to live right now, how to relate to that person that you just can't forgive, how to manage our finances right now, how to succeed and be stable in life right now. But it's also about where we are going. Do not store up for yourself treasures on earth where rust and moth destroy, but lay up for yourself treasures in heaven. That's looking at the not yet. That's looking at where we are going. So it's both now and it is not yet. It is both the present and the future. This is just the most amazing few chapters of the Bible. And so lend me your ears, as someone famously said, lend me your ears as we go through this series, because if you take the lessons of it, it will have a practical difference in your life right now, in your home, in your family, in your work, in your everyday life, but also for eternity. These are the words of Jesus here in these chapters, and not the words of an author or a pastor or an influencer. They are the words of the Son of God telling us how to live now and in the light of eternity. Well, let's look at today's passage. They call it the Beatitudes. Some people have called it the beautiful attitudes. And we're going to look at it from a great height this week. But next week and following on from there, we're going to zoom in and look at some of the details. I want you to see something really important about these few verses. Do you remember that when we went through verse 1 and verse 2 about Jesus going up the mountain and sitting down and getting ready to teach? Do you remember that we said that what Matthew wants us to see is that Jesus is like Moses? That Jesus going up the mountain to bring his guidance for life in the new covenant is just like Moses going up to get the commandments in the old covenant. And we said there's this comparison. There are things that are the same. He's like Moses, but he's also different to Moses. Moses said we should listen to him. And so we must listen to this one that is like Moses, but he's different to Moses. And I want you to see one of the most important differences. And if you get this, it might just change your life. It might just change your life. Let's look at the account where Moses is sharing the old covenant laws with them. I want us to go to the book of Deuteronomy. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 11, and we're going to read from verse 26 together. Let's go there together. Are we there? Listen to this. As he shares the old covenant laws, this is what Moses says. He says, "See, I am setting before you today a blessing and a curse. The blessing if you obey the commands of the Lord your God that I am giving you today. The curse if you disobey the commands of the Lord your God and turn from the way I command you today by following other gods which you have not known." Okay. That's Moses. That's Old Covenant. What do you notice when you read that and then you come back at the opening words of this message of Jesus, do you notice something? There's something that is missing. There's something that was there in Deuteronomy that is no longer there in this new covenant message. And what is it? The curse is missing. It's not there. Listen to it. Listen to verse 3. And we're going to listen to the word that begins verse 3, blessed. And verse 4, blessed. And verse 5, blessed. And verse 6, blessed. And verse 7, blessed. And verse 8, blessed. And verse 9, blessed. And verse 10, blessed. And verse 11, blessed. And verse 12, rejoice. Do you see that there's a fundamental difference here? Blessed, 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 blessed. The old covenant law had a blessing for obedience and a curse for disobedience, but all we hear here is blessed, 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 blessed. Now, why is that? Why is that? Why do we not hear about a curse for those who do not obey these words of what people call the Sermon on the Mount? Why is the curse not there? Well, it's very simple and very straightforward New Testament theology that unlocks this. Curses come because commands are disobeyed and the covenant is broken. But the gospel operates on a different operating system.